I play it stops the hurting.
Vernier Scalper.
Willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal. Ich bin Vernier Scalper. And today we will be talking about Arrietty. Okay? Arrietty, which is based on the book The Borrowers. Now, I have actually seen the film The Borrowers that is also based on the book The Borrowers, and I don't remember shit. I remember shit. Like, I was probably not paying attention. I realized that a lot of childhood films that I've seen, you know, Narnia, Spiderwick, Polar Express, what other fucking things did I watched a lot of those Western fantasy films with the white people, you know, the white, snowy white people. Bridge to Terabithia, I've seen that one as well. Funny enough, I've not seen stuff like, what is Harry Potter? You know, I've not seen Harry Potter. I've not seen that one. I've not seen Lord of the Rings. I guess that is not really for kids. I've seen Stardust. Is that what it's called? Stardust. I've seen Stardust. Yes, but I don't really remember what happened in The Borrowers. I do recall something about exploring the house and they're tiny, and the concept of borrowing items from the humans. I don't think it's ever explained how these people came about, you know, these tiny people. I did some Googling. This film, okay, this film, I will have to put a disclaimer, okay? I am only judging, I'm only speaking, I'm only joking about this film as it is on its own, like a standalone, okay? Because it is a standalone Ghibli film. It is not part of a series. It is not part of a franchise of its own. No, it is not, okay? It is a singular film. And it is based on a series of books. 5 books, actually. But you know, about the Borrowers. This only covers a very small part, or rather the first book, really. So the characters that we see, they actually go on to have other adventures and other, you know, misadventures. But that is not covered in this film. Okay? And I know I will sound a little bit judgy, a little bit cynical, because there is only one small part of the big story, but I don't think it's fair to use that as an excuse either. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, oh, it actually is very good for what it is, and you know, it is very entertaining, and it doesn't matter that it's only one small part of the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's fair to use that as an excuse or something to hide behind as we criticize and talk about the film. I think that we should still be critical. Well, in my previous video, I said I remember I enjoyed this film. And, you know, I enjoyed it, I guess, like, moments of well, on the rewatch, okay, on the rewatch, it's alright, okay, it is one of those things where I am very conflicted when films, and again, it is not the first time that Ghibli has adapted source material. You know, this is not the first time that a movie is based on a book or a manga, something that Ghibli has done. So again, I can't just use that excuse and say that you can't expect so much from a film. There is only that much they can pack in one film. It is a 1 hour and 30 minute film. As much as I like the length, for the sake of plot development, character development, immersiveness into the world building, I would add a few more minutes, you know, maybe even 10 minutes just to get more juice out of the source material, or even take some artistic liberties, because let's just start with the music, the whimsical Irish Celtic music that we have. I like the whimsiness that can come with the Irish music, so I was kind of hyped. I was kind of hyped, but it is still an odd choice. It is still an odd choice. It is a very nice variation and something different when we compare it to the previous Ghibli films, okay? Especially when we're talking about the European sensibilities. I think that this new sound is very interesting. It was a bit jarring at first, especially hearing a Caucasian. Maybe the person is, I don't know if the singer is actually Caucasian, but most probably Caucasian with this Caucasian voice singing in English on a Ghibli film. I was very, it was a bit jarring. You know, I'm being very confident. This is why you cannot satisfy everybody. You cannot satiate everybody, because on one hand, I'm complaining that it's starting to feel samey and we need a change, but then you give the Irish music with the English singer and I'm like, yeah. I know I'm a complainer, okay? I complain a lot, okay? But I think that it would be more interesting if we had an Irish-Japanese fusion, like at the end of the film. That is when they bring in the actual fusion, because the person actually sings in Japanese and some English words, but you get it. And Japanese is a very flowy language, okay? It goes well with these types of sensual music genres, you know, like with the flamenco music, it's very good. Spanish music is very good with Japanese because they have that flow in the syllables, okay? It works well. It was wasted. We could have had more of that, you know. But I think that it is nice, okay? I think it's nice as the whimsy to it. And I was really expecting more whimsy with this film. It is very mundane, okay? It is very mundane. And halfway through the film, I was questioning myself. Am I an iPad kid or something? Because it was slow. It was slow. Okay. Perhaps slow is not the right word. It is more of, like nothing is happening, okay? There is nothing interesting happening. It is very plot point. Like the stakes, they don't feel as high as they're trying to make it seem. Because, yes, I get it that the borrowers, they're very fragile. They're tiny people. They can get squashed, okay? And as they're traveling around the kitchen, you have to remember and to contextualize the fact that in the kitchen, a lot of things are squashed in the kitchen. And you have these tiny squashable insect people. They're not insect people, but pests walking around, roaming and taking things. There is this danger that I feel that the film just does not convey. I think that the Western film, the live action film of The Borrowers, I felt like they come, at least from my childhood memory, I felt like that film really captured the danger, the fear. The one thing that I think they managed to capture is when, you know, when they're in the kitchen and the sound of the static, you know, the static sound of like the fridge and the water in the, what was it, the kettle or something? Just those subtle sounds that as a normal full-size person, a full-size human being, you tend to tune it out because they're just tiny sounds, but because these people are so small and minute. Is minute a good way to talk about organisms? Okay. They're small, so the sounds are amplified tenfold, okay? They're amplified so freaking much. So it's haunting, it's scary, it's imposed. I think that is my new favorite word. It's imposing. It is loud. It is like this vibration. I bet the vibrations go crazy as a borrower. The vibrations are probably like earthquakes. They're not mere tremors. It is probably very dramatic. But we don't feel that. We don't feel that. I guess the only time where we really feel the mortality of the borrowers is when mom gets, taken away by that evil, that evil caretaker. Oh, I'm already getting a hit on myself. I feel a bit too non-structural today. Usually I just want to get into my points. And I guess I should be doing that. But I just want to yap and talk about what comes up from the top of my head. Well, okay. Let's just look at the points. Now, at the start of the film, we already have this anti-cat propaganda, which I am very sick of. Okay, I am very sick of this anti-cat. Okay, I know. The borrowers, they're tiny, so anything that is big and even if it's a cute, cuddly, fat cat, it is scary, it is a monster, it is a beast to the little people. Because especially with the cats, cats like to chase after mice, they like to hunt, they like to get like those little critters. So these borrowers look like critters to the cats. I get it, but it's tired. Can we have a different type of enemy, okay? But I guess because it's domestic environment, so the cat is the... And aren't the borrowers like pests? I know we're supposed to empathize with them, okay? I know we're supposed to buy into this whole story and concept that they borrow. Bruh. When in this film have they returned shit? When have they returned shit? That was not shown. Okay, what is not shown is not there. I know. Sometimes in films and books, it is what you don't show that is impactful. Okay? And that is impactful. We don't see we don't ever see them return shit. They take. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, I'm sure. Okay, even in the life of the borrowers, they are just like humans. Okay? The parents are so uncool. Okay, I guess dad is stereotypical. Okay, dad is stereotypical. I am the man of the family. I have no emotions. I barely smile. The smile is very... like the stoic smile. Ugh. Oh, he's a weathered man. He has been through a lot. He does not smile. So when he smiles, it is a rarity, is a very, very impactful type bullshit. Bitch. So that is that. Okay, that is like the big guy who goes out and gets things, and mom is a fucking mess. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I know I need to be nice to the woman, but mom is a mess. She is lucky that she married this man because, bruh, if she had to be alone, okay, she had to be alone out in the dangerous world of the humans and fend for herself, she will not survive. She will not the way that she is based on the mannerisms of the mom from the start of the film. I know this woman has no crisis mode. She has no survival instincts, and when that evil caretaker came for her, I felt bad, okay? I did. I felt really bad because that evil caretaker is just so insufferable. Like, she is very disgusting. I think she's a very good villain, okay? From the moment she enters the screen, we kind of get this vibe of, ooh, it's very icky, you know, very, it's just I don't like the vibe, okay? And then we find out that she's a hater and she's trying to exterminate the borrowers. Yeah, she's a good villain, okay? But the way she was torturing mom and picking her up like a fucking fly and cockroach, putting her in the jar and stuff, it was kind of funny, okay? It was kind of amusing to see mom struggle so much. She was so pathetic. She was not cool at all. She was not composed at all. She was a mess. Okay, she was a fucking mess. Mom is so not cool, okay? She's a dweeb. Stop! So mom is really uncool because why is she criticizing Arrietty's room? Why is she talking shit about Arrietty's room, saying that it's so messy? Yes, it has a lot of things, okay? It has lots of gadgets and gizmos aplenty. It has lots of trinkets. They're mostly plants, okay? Leaves and things, flowers that she has picked from the outside world, from nature. It looks fine. Like, why is she talking shit? She is bored, okay? I get it, okay? It's very bored to be, you know, COVID, we've been through it all, okay? We know how bored you get. We know how much you want to stir shit when you're trapped at home with your family and it's just like, ugh. I get it. I can empathize with it, but really, it's messy. Couldn't you come up with something else? Like, come up with something else, like that you did not flash. You smell. Why must you attack the room? It is such a pretty room. It is almost solar punk, you know, like the house situational. It is like, it could go into that solar punk level, which would be interesting, but you know, it is not that type of fantasy. It is not that type of a world where we're living in. But it is also a dangerous game because you, Arrietty, have all these leaves that you've plucked, leaves and herbs and aromatics, and you know, mom likes the aromatics as well. She likes the herbs. She likes to make the juice and ask you for the sugar. But it is a dangerous game. What if they die and you're just surrounded by death in your room? Everything turns brown. Oh, that would be nightmarish as fuck. Surrounded by fucking death. And it's supposed to be your personal heaven. How does she even keep the leaves alive? That is the thing. They use the leaves as houseplants as well, but when you dissect a leaf from a stem, doesn't it mean that the leaf will eventually die? How do they keep all these things fucking alive in the house? It does not make any sense, but okay, sure. You know, sure. Like, this is just part of the whimsy, it's part of the fantasy. These little insect people are, you know, they have their little leaves. And Arrietty's character design, all of their character designs actually are really good. It really plays into the tiny people, you know, the shrunken perspective concept of it all, right? It reminds me of Pikmin, Bugs Life, where we really play with the size of objects and how these little objects can be massive and repurposed as different types of furniture and tools in the perspective of these little people. Like the hair clip, that is so iconic. The hair clip that is actually a clothes peg. That the character design is scrumptious. It's scrumptious. And again, I know this is fucking cynical, okay? I know that this is very cynical of me, but they're not returning shit. They're not returning shit. Well, okay. I guess they don't have to return the leaves to nature because technically the borrowing thing only really refers to human objects. So technically the leaves and stuff, they don't have to return. But how the fuck are they going to return things like butter? You know, they butter their bread and they have the food, like the how do they plan to return that to the humans? Like, and okay, food items aside, what about materials? What about tools that they use? What is the least? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long till they return those said items? Or are they just going to return them when they die? You know what I'm saying? But I don't buy this fucking borrowing bullshit. It is just a bunch of bull. It's a bunch of bull. Now the first meeting between Sho, the sick boy, as in physically sick, okay, not like perverted. Maybe he's a bit perverted, but we never know. You know, like, what is that thing that he's reading? We may never know, okay? So his first meeting with Arrietty is very cute, I will say. I'm not heartless, okay? I want to see them happy. It was cute. She was standing outside the window, you know, hiding behind the leaves. So he's only talking to her silhouette, and it's very dramatic. It is very Shakespearean, really. It's very Shakespearean. Because when she leaves, okay, when she leaves, he puts the leaf to his face, smelling the leaf. Oh, God. It is... smelling the leaf, smelling what could have been Arrietty. It is very Shakespearean. It is very forbidden love story. It is very we belong in different families, different worlds. Oh, it is also very sad when the scene before, when Dad and Arrietty are in the kitchen and blah blah blah, and in the bedroom, and that was when Sho first spoke to her. Like, I saw you. And she did not reply. Okay, that first meeting, she did not reply. She tried to, you know, keep it on the down low. Okay, keep it on the down low. But she was already smitten and a bit scared, obviously. But it was very dramatic. It was very dramatic. It was very Shakespearean, and it's very sad because he's dying. Okay, we find out that he has some heart problem, and he has to have an operation, and he's very pessimistic. So it was very sad. He's up in this room, dying, possibly dying, and he's talking to imaginary people that are not the imaginary people are not replying. They are just going back into the hole. It is sad, and after they leave, he just goes back to sleep. Oh God, I feel bad for him, okay, that boy. And their first cute moment together was not perfect as well. It had to be ruined by the fucking stupid crow. Okay, that stupid crow that flew into the window, okay, because it probably did not see that there is a mesh. It was very dramatic, and Caretaker had to come in and smack the shit out of that crow. Which is also very sinister, because if she can smack the shit out of the crow, imagine the shit that she would do to the tiny people. She's evil. And I love that for her, okay? I love that for her. I love that for the plot. But she's nasty. I hate her. There is nothing redeeming about her. And it is how they even make her figure and her face like unpleasant. Oh, they knew what they were doing. It is And guess what? Arrietty runs into her dad. as she's scrambling back home after the incident, the crow incident. Oh, Daddy is not happy. Daddy is mad, okay? Daddy is trying to stay composed. He's trying to be, like stoic as usual, fucking rock. He's trying to be that strict, it's like, I'm not scary till you cross me type bullshit, that type of dad. Don't make Daddy take his belt off. Don't make Daddy take his belt off, Arrietty. What is the belt made of, though? What small item created the belt that is around Daddy's waist? Oh, we're about to find out. No, Arrietty, please, let's not piss Daddy off, okay? He does not... Let's not introduce domestic violence into the story. So, how about you stop going... Or, you know what? I support that she's out here on her own and doing rebellious teenage shit. Okay, rebellious teenage romance. But you have to be more sneaky. You have to be more incognito. You have to be smarter. You have to be more careful, That was very... Running into her dad like this, oh, that was very bad. That was not good work at all. But I guess she improves, okay? We had losses and we had some victories because we do see scenes where she runs off on her own and the parents don't say a word or find out, So she's still capable of being sneaky. Okay, so the caretaker... It is very sinister because Granny here, I don't know if it's supposed to be Granny or aunt or relative, okay, is talking about how father, okay, as said in the subtitles, father did not live to see his dream come true when referring to this beautiful ornate dollhouse. So I guess like this grandfather or this person in the family who was passed really wanted to find the borrowers. He probably wanted to meet those tiny people and perhaps let them have the dollhouse because that is a very beautiful house. Like it would be heaven for the, as proven by mom. Okay, Arrietty's mom who was looking at the kitchen and falling in love and then getting into trouble because of the kitchen. It is very sinister because as Granny is talking, caretaker is there, nodding and smiling and wow. But we all know what she's thinking in her head. We know there is nothing positive. There is nothing warm and rainbow and sprinkles in her head. She's thinking of extermination. She's thinking of mass extinction. She's thinking of desecration. She's thinking of murder. She's evil. She's so evil. She is pure evil. Like there is no complexity to her character. Which I guess can be a criticism, There is no complexity to any of the characters, really. Like, well, I guess Arrietty and I don't know. It's just not. Now that it struck me as I'm making this video, the characters they're fine. Okay, they're fine. Speaking of characters, we get to meet Spiller. What the fuck is that name? Splitter, okay? Like this other borrower guy who is dressed very primitive, very tribe. What is this all about? Okay, you see, this is where my criticism comes in again. Because if this film is all we have, we can only live off assumptions, okay? We can make assumptions that, so Arrietty's family is very accustomed to this humanoid lifestyle of the very modern clothes and modern house, and just very, they like that fantasy. They like to pretend like they're one of the humans in a way, but really this might give us the interpretation that the other borrowers out there do not live the same way. They look like stereotypical savages, or like cave people, barbarians, the stereotypes of that. With the bow, he has the bow, and with that dead fish snack that he offered to them, and they were like, no, it's too barbaric for us, we're sorry. We want something classier, okay? We want something that is cooked, something that is processed, something that is baked, and not just dying fish corpse swinging in our face. No thanks. We're too high class, okay? We're too classy. We need something luxurious. Do you see the house that you are standing in? Does it look like we want to have a taste of your disgusting fish? So I don't know what is it with the spiller, okay? It's nice to give us an impression of how borrowers are, how they might look like outside of the Arrietty situational. And if we need some context of why he's in the house, it's because he saved Dad, okay? Dad got injured and he helped Dad back into the house. The house. That was when I realized something. So the windows that we see in the house with the sunlight, it hit me that, oh shit, those are simulations. And they did mention verbally as well that they're paintings. They're not real sunlight and moonlight and day night scenery. They actually had to manually change it. That is very depressing. What a depressing way to live. It's very sci-fi, right? Very sci-fi trope of like when you live underground or in space or in a situational where there is no natural daylight, day-night cycle. So you have to simulate it such that your body can continue to function normally and not go crazy because like, oh, this day I don't feel tired because I keep seeing that, what is it called, the cerebral, oh my god, it is, I swear, every time I film a video, I cannot remember terms, I cannot remember important scientific nerdy shit that I have accumulated over the years. What is it called? There is a name for it. It's something to do with the way your body reacts to day and night, and it regulates the way you sleep. What is the fucking term? Okay. It is a very depressing way to live, okay? It's very depressing being held up in that house. Well, it is because I was thinking of mouthwashing, the game mouthwashing, and they have to simulate sunlight and sunset on the ship because they're stuck there the whole time. But it isn't necessarily as bad because Arrietty and her family, the borrowers, they can actually go outside, right? They can go into nature, they can see the real sun, they can see the real grass, they can see the real water, real nature. So it is not that depressing, though there is the risk of getting hunted down by an animal. It is not that bad, but speaking of risk, Dad got injured and he's trying to be tough. What if the dad died? Oh, that would make this so much more interesting. We need a death. We need a death. I'm sorry. Maybe there is death in the books. Okay, maybe the books explore a death or death of a fellow borrower. I think that would add complexity to the story because we know, again, we know that there's this mortality thing, there's this fear of death, there is this safety thing with the borrowers because they're so vulnerable in this ginormous world that they are in. But I just feel like the film does not tap into that fear enough. You know what I'm saying? It is very much a life or death situation, right? Like, as humans, our life or death situation would be very accidental, right? Like getting hit by a car, struck by lightning, eating food that is expired. But for these little tiny insects, these little pesky little people, everything is dangerous. Okay, everything is fucking dangerous. Like, they can step outside and they can die. That is not the case for us as humans. I don't think. I hope that is not the case for you as the viewer who are watching. You know what I'm saying? So it would be more interesting if, even if that is like in a critical condition, that would be it would add so much depth, okay, emotional layers to the film. Because like I mentioned earlier, now that I think about it, the characters, they don't really, there are no arcs, there's no character arcs, it is just, it is kind of shallow. You know, it's kind of shallow. Even though, and again, like when I say that it's very Shakespearean, is it though? Like, it does not really tap into that tragedy or that romance, that yearning, that, like, everything is very light. It's a very children's book vibe, okay? Which I guess is fine. It is an adaptation and they want to stay true, but it's just not very convincing. I don't really feel an attachment to these characters or a propulsion to want to empathize and want them to succeed. It is just I'm just watching these tiny people. I'm just watching these insects. And Show tried to put that dollhouse kitchen into the house of Arrietty, okay, into Arrietty's house. That was so bad. He really thought he ate. He really thought he was being helpful. He thought he was being a hero, a savior, by gifting them that luxurious kitchen when really it was traumatic as fuck. Okay, like the kitchen is nice. You get a nice kitchen in the end, but that whole process of seeing your house get taken apart, torn apart, lifted into the air, and just like this, like what is happening? The world is ending. Oh, this is the end. Like, this is the end. We're going to die. Like, it's an earthquake. It's a monster. That is traumatizing. That is so fucking monstrous of him to do. And he was like, hey, I hope you like the kitchen. And he did a sloppy job as well. He did not, take it out like, like carefully, gently. You do know that these are insect people. They're tiny as pests. You're rumbling around, you're moving like a human, but in their perspective, you're a monster beast. You just can't just together. Oh, it was so clumsy and barbaric of him. It was very man, okay? Here we go again. Here we fucking go again, okay? It's very man. Very... I give you house, yo! Arrietty was not amused. She was like, you did not really help us. Even though mom is fucking enamored by the kitchen, but Arrietty is not. Arrietty is not going to be swayed easily, okay? She was like, you're fucking crazy. This is not what we wanted. Now you're going to put us in danger. He's sloppy and he dropped that fucking jar, the golden pot on the stair, and the caretaker finds out, oh, that is when it leads her into finding the hideout, Arrietty's house, That is what leads her, the caretaker, to, oh my god, he just made their life so much worse. From that act of kindness, that heroic decision. And I know we're supposed to feel bad because it's like, look at this sick boy. Look at this dying boy. He's trying his best to be benevolent and kind, so he wants to help the tiny people, but he can't even do that. How about you just stick to reading your book? How about you just stick to, putting the sugar cube offering outside the house? Why do you have to lift the whole fucking thing? And now that one scene where they meet, okay, in the grass fields, in nature, and they see eye to eye, and Cat tried to scratch her. So this is where Arrietty is like, you're not helping, okay? You're being a fucking troublemaker. You're making our lives tough. Okay? Arrietty is not happy. She's making it very clear that she's not here for this bullshit. This heroic act bullshit. And Sho drops the one-liner. You're beautiful. Really? That is a fucking chop, okay? Ashitaka already did that in Mononoke. We've already done that in Princess Mononoke. Okay, the you're beautiful bullshit. Like, bitch, like, shut up. Like, the men, all they do is you're beautiful. Trying to make the girl soft. Oh my god. Ugh. Shut the fuck up. You're beautiful. Oh god. If you think about it, this story is basically Mononoke repackaged. It's basically Mononoke repackaged, but like whimsy, like whimsier, and like. And we even get the Pompoko cameo later. Forbidden love. Okay, but Arrietty is also pissing me off, talking about how we are borrowers. We have done this for generations and you're ruining everything, and now we have to move. And now, because we're found, we have to leave and blah blah blah. Sad story, stop story. You are fucking thieves. You're fucking pests. Let's be fucking for real, okay? You're fucking thieves. Borrowing, like. There was a part earlier. Mom was crushing the cookies to make the cookie crumble and make it into dust to maybe bake something. Are they ever going to return that? How are they going to return the fucking cookie are they going to make giant cookies and return the cookies after they have borrowed? Yo! That is full of shit, okay? We've done this for generations. You mean you've been thieving? You've been stealing for generations. Yes, that is why it is time you leave. That is time you leave. You have that gall to be like, we have been here for generations. That is why it is time you leave. You've been stealing for generations. Your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, everybody has just been stealing from the humans. Talking about like self-importance, all these like self-importance, self-righteous bullshit. These little people, they're no better than humans. They're just humans repackaged, okay? They're just humans shrunken down. Like, you're not special. You're no, like, incredible, like, life form or something. You're just as disgusting as us humans. You pick and you choose. And you pick and you pick and you pick. You do a lot of picking. But Sho is not making me like him anymore either. Talking about, you guys are a dying species. No, that is not what he said. What is the quote? Doomed. You guys are a doomed species. Don't you know that you're a doomed species? I read that in the books. I know the facts. It is about time that you die. Oh, he was so obnoxious with his information. You know, it's very man. It's very man telling the woman that she's over, that she's being dramatic, she's being over emotional. It's very man. Talking about the facts. Bitch, you are a dying sick nerd, okay, in a room with a book that God knows what you're reading about. Like, you fucking nerd. You have no street skills. Arrietty has street skills, okay? Arrietty has street smarts. She is out here in the fucking dirt, in the grass. What have you ever done? He comes out from the house and he's like, like he's already dying from heart palpitations. Who are you to tell her that she does not know the world better than you? Talking about, do you know how many humans are there on Earth? Sorry, I'm trying to eat something that is stuck in my teeth. Do you know that there are a fucking I don't know how many billion. How many billion were there when this film came out? 6, 7 billion? There are 7 billion of us. There are probably only a few of you little tiny people. He is such a loser. I can't. And when she gets mad at him, he plays the martyr card. What to do? What to do? Now he plays the martyr card. Now he plays the... Oh, I'm sorry. I never could have known. I guess I'm just so wrong. I just can't do any right. I fucking hate him. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for other people. I'm not an empathetic person. I'm so sorry. If you came to this channel expecting empathy, if you clicked into this video expecting empathy, if you're looking at this face expecting empathy, I'm sorry. I do have empathy, but I do not have ample empathy, you know. Maybe I should borrow some empathy from the human. And the thing as well is, what even is the caretaker's problem? Like, who hurt her? You know, like, who hurt her? Like, did some little person... Okay, maybe little person starting to sound like a slur, okay? What did the borrowers do to her to make her have such a vengeance? You know what I'm saying? Like, she has to be evil for a reason. Somebody must have fucked her up. We can't just... It's so cartoonish textbook villain that is like, okay, but what is her story though? Like, was she bullied? Does she feel like an insect? So now she has to go after all these other insects and... You know, was she exterminated? Was she removed from her house? Like, what she did into the dollhouse with the mom? Like, what? Like, why is she so cranky? I need to see a darker version of this film. I need to see a darker version of this film where this very, like, almost horror coded and she's like monster. Very like Little Nightmares, you know. Oh, Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares does the giganticism and the tiny shrunken perspective very well. Maybe we can get the spin-off. No, let's be fucking for... I am not going to watch a spin-off of The Caretaker. Let's be fucking for real. The ending... It's bittersweet, okay? It's cute, okay? It's cute. The hair clip momento is cute. But we've already seen that in Spirited Away. We've already seen that in Spirited Away. Like... That is the only thing that she has returned. Oh... Borrowers, that is the only thing, the only real physical object that we have seen return to the humans. And they might not actually have come from this house, it might be from somewhere else, so it technically isn't returning the item. And they travel away on the kettle with Spiller in the water. it's not. This film is... It is. I would not recommend this film, okay? I would not recommend this film. And at the end of the film, the soundtrack comes in again, and this is the one that I mentioned earlier where it's sung in Japanese. Why are they making this Caucasian sounding person sing it? Because what is it? The watashi taka tadaima. Like, what is that singing? Was Shizuka Kudo not available? You know, Shizuka Kudo has done some of these very folky, like, you know, the Karelia album, if you know, you know, okay? She has done this type of music before. Why can't we hire her to do the soundtrack? She can actually sing Japanese with the folky Irish vibes and have it sell it well. And you have this like watashi wa deku ni masu ka as vocals in the... That is it. I'm really not that happy about this film. And I think I've made it very clear throughout on what are my qualms. I don't really want to talk about it anymore, if I'm being completely honest. I think I should end the video now. Do I have any more pointers? Nothing. It's just like, do they ever return the shit? Oh, I would love to watch a version of this film where the boy's condition is dramatized. Like, he's a and we see the heart be like duk 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 duk, and the screen start to blur from his perspective, you know, his perspective, because we always see Arrietty. What about the boy? I want to see him like collapse and that would be interesting. That would be... So now we see from both sides. Now we have more empathy. Now we see depth. I don't think this is a good film. It is alright. It is... Maybe I should read the book someday, okay? Maybe I should read the book someday and we can have a revision. And I will call the video In Defense of the Borrowers, In Defense of Arrietty. But till then, like and subscribe and do all of that. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's not fun. The next video will be up on Poppy Hill. And if I'm being completely honest, I remember what that film is about and I'm not very excited. But we will be talking about it. Because it is part of the journey and we can't skip parts in the process. We have to soldier on even though we know we probably wouldn't like it. But yes, like and subscribe and do all of that. I'll see you in the next video.